Worst draft picks in NHL history. Back in 1999, the Atlanta Thrashers had the first overall pick in the NHL draft. It was their first ever draft as an expansion team, and they needed a franchise player to build around. But what happened next turned into one of the biggest draft mistakes in NHL history. You see, instead of picking a future superstar, the Thrashers selected Patrick Stefan, a Czech forward who had shown flashes of potential in Europe and the IHL. Scouts saw his size and playmaking ability, but there were concerns. He had already suffered a concussion before the draft, and injuries were a lingering issue. But the Thrashers ignored the warning signs, and it didn't take long for the problems to show. The thing is, Stefan struggled to live up to expectations from the very start. He never scored more than 14 goals in a season, battled injuries constantly, and failed to develop into the franchise player Atlanta desperately needed. Meanwhile, other teams walked away with future Hall of Famers like Daniel and Henrik Sedin, who were drafted right after him. But his NHL career wasn't just disappointing, it became infamous. What I mean is that in 2007, while playing for the Dallas Stars, Stefan had a chance to put away a game against the Edmonton Oilers with an easy empty net goal. He skated in completely alone, and somehow he lost control of the puck. He fell to the ice, Edmonton raced the other way, and seconds later, they tied the game. It was one of the most embarrassing moments in NHL history, but after that, his career was basically over. As it turns out, Stefan only played one more season before injuries forced him to retire at just 26 years old. The Thrashers' first ever draft pick, the player they hoped would lead their franchise, ended up playing just 455 games and scoring only 188 points.